So it's been about a year since I made my review video of the Blazar Cato 2X anamorphic lenses, and since then I've used them on a lot of projects, shot a lot of short films with them, lived with them on set. I've got a lot more footage to show you, and I think at the time that I made that review, the 40mm lens hadn't even been released yet. So I have that one. I've got more footage to show you. Let's get into it. So since I made my review video of the lenses, I've kind of seen the battle between the critics and the YouTube salesmen, between the character and the crap, and a lot of opinions getting thrown around. I don't really know anything about that. All I can really do is just tell you my own personal experience using these lenses, as subjective as that may be, show you some sample footage, and kind of let you form your own opinion, about where these lenses fit into the world of indie production. So with all that being said, I will start with something that I found rather annoying with ththese lenses, and it became apparent when the 40mm finally arrived. And that is that the 40mm came and it had a 95mm front element when all the other ones had an 85mm front element, which meant that when swapping lenses, I wouldn't be able to clamp on the matte box or any filters that I may be using between the lenses without some kind of adaptation. And when you're buying a set of cinema lenses, especially a full set, one of the things you're buying is, having a set of lenses where all of that is consistent across the whole set. So Blazar didn't completely leave us out on the cold on this one. They did provide these aluminum step-up rings that you could apply to the other three lenses to then make them consistent across the whole set. However, the one thing they did not provide was lens caps that you could then use with the other three lenses. You would have to take these step-up rings back off to put the lens caps on, and that's just not something you're going to be doing on set. Either you're going to get there and you're going to put these on all three lenses at the beginning of a shooting day, but then you're not going to have lens caps on those lenses when they're not being used, or when you go to do a lens change, you're going to have to screw one of these on, and then it's just, you're not going to do that. So essentially what I do is I leave these step-up rings permanently affixed to the other three focal lengths, and I went out and I bought 4 matching aluminum lens caps, so that way everything's consistent. I don't have to fiddle around with those step-up rings, and when I get to set, everything's ready to go. I think it would have been really nice, in addition to including those step-up rings, if Blazar would have included 3 more lens caps, so that way we could have the set consistent. It's a minor complaint, but I did find it quite annoying. As far as the build quality of these lenses goes, there's really nothing else to complain about other than that. They're rock solid, and I've had no other issues with them on set whatsoever. Any other issues you may have with these lenses probably really just comes down to taste. If you're shooting anamorphic, you're always going to be giving up, a little bit of sharpness. You're going to be bringing in, that character, and it's really just up to you whether or not you like the look of what they're doing. There is a little bit of, a learning curve when shooting anamorphic. How are you going to monitor it? Are you going to de-squeeze in the camera? Are you going to de-squeeze with a monitor? And when you do that with a monitor or something like that, are you going to get a sharp enough image to really pull focus on? And those are the kind of things that you've got to get used to, and it can cause you a little bit of pain on set, at least at the beginning. One piece of advice that I can offer with these lenses is to stop them down. Shooting wide open with anamorphics is like, wow, you're really rolling the dice on whether you're going to have a sharp image there or something that's tack sharp. And if you're worried about getting that separation from the background or getting bokeh, keep in mind that with anamorphic, when you stop down a little bit, you're still getting that separation because of how the lenses are constructed, the way they squeeze the image. So you actually get much more separation with like an f4 than you would shooting f4 on like a spherical or even a 5.6. At f4, they really come alive and provide something unique that you're not going to see from your everyday spherical, or if you're shooting with stills lenses or something like that. So those are maybe some of the drawbacks and some of the troubles that you may have in using these lenses. But what do you get for your trouble? Well, I think you get the world. And I don't mean the world, I think you get a world. And I mean a world that's different than what you're used to seeing every single day. When you film these lenses, these 2X anamorphics, and you're de-squeezing it, you're really looking, at the monitor, and it feels like you're seeing, a different reality, an alternate reality to what we live in. And, when you're making a film, you really want to create that world. You really want to take the audience to another place. And I think that is the reason to shoot anamorphic. And when you give up, you know, a little bit of sharpness, or you deal with a little bit of character or something like that, you know, it's like, it's transactional. You're giving that away, but look what you're getting. You're getting that whole other world. And I think that, you know, there's something to be said about taking the audience to a different place. So in my opinion, it just depends on the project. If I really, you know, want to go that route, if it's somebody, you know, I'm working with the director or somebody else, they want a really clean image, or if it's something commercial, then, you know, I leave these at home. I bring the sphericals out. I bring my Vespids out. I bring something that, you know, it's a little bit more traditional to the set. So I think one of the reasons why I get such a good result out of these lenses, or at least I think it's a good result, is because I'm only using them with a Super 35 size sensor. With anamorphics, you know, these anamorphics do cover a full frame sensor, but a lot of that distortion around the edges, a lot of that compression that you get in fishbowl effect, it happens more on the periphery of the frame. So by just using the center part of the image circle with a Super 35 size sensor, I'm cutting a lot of that out, and I'm getting the best performance out of these lenses that I can. However, if you have the ability, or you have a Blackmagic Pixis, it shoots 4x3 open gate, and you want to use these lenses, you can really get that crazy anamorphic world and get a lot of that crazy anamorphic character by doing that. But I think by having the ability to shoot both, these lenses provide you like a lot of variety. For me, I shoot them on the RED Komodo, just using that Super 35 size. I'm shooting the cleanest part of the image circle. So like I said in my first video about these lenses, I bought these myself, so I really don't have a horse in this race. If you watch this video and it compels you to go out and buy a set of these lenses, that's great. If for whatever reason this video compels you to stay away from these lenses, that's great too. I'm really just happy to provide any information that I can to help you make a decision like that, because as we all know, money doesn't grow on trees, and I would hate for anyone to go out and buy something that's not gonna, you know, help them advance in their filmmaking, help them do whatever it is they're trying to do, especially with the limited resources that we all have to our disposal. Of course, you know, you can maybe pick these up for a rental, try them out yourself. I think you'll have a lot of fun with them, if nothing else. I've had a blast with them, and you know, if you have to ask me if I'm glad that I got these lenses, the answer is absolutely yes. I do enjoy using these and creating that kind of anamorphic world that looks a lot different than you know, just regular spherical glass. Even if these are budget anamorphics and they don't perform as well as, you know, something that costs 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times the price for these, that's to be understandable. These are very affordable lenses, and for me, I'm very glad to have them. I've had a lot of fun with them, and again, like I said in all my other videos, this isn't a video made from the top of a mountain or anything like that. If anything, I'm just a fellow climber like you. If we work hard and we stick together, hopefully we'll see each other at the top.